Hello. Thank you very much for stopping by this amazing podcast. If you watch or listen to this podcast, you'll be one of the few, or maybe even less than a few, a couple, or even one that watch this video podcast. So consider yourself a true hero. Also, you can brag to your friends or family or whatever, co-workers or whatever, that you actually tuned on this video. Thank you again for stopping by the video podcast. You all have a great day now.
Hey, what's up? This is former President Barack Obama, and you're watching Random Green TV. Oh yeah.
Welcome to the Random Green Video Podcast. On today's video podcast, I want to talk about. But first, I just want. Oh, I did welcome you guys. I'm sorry. First, I just wanted to say that thank you. Yeah. And second, yeah. Like I say, this video podcast is episode number 107. You'll be able to find You'll be able to find it under the podcast section, and that's going to be the playlist. So you'll see it. You'll be able to see it that way. Go back and look and watch the other video podcast, and or if you don't, no big deal. I understand you're probably not gonna. And like I say, the intro of this video podcast was recorded. That's an old recording, a few months now, where I talked about you might be the one of the only few. God, I'm struggling to talk tonight. I'm just struggling tonight I'm not the most articulate person, but anyway, how about I just get into it, Or I could just digress like all the other podcasters that are, famous podcasters. Obviously, I'm not the most famous podcaster. Second most famous. No, just kidding. Maybe in the apartment complex I live at, maybe I'm the second best. Anyway, or maybe I'm the best on that one. Who knows? Yes. So enough digressing. Let's get into it. I want to talk to you viewers about the gridiron football season coming up. Look, it's exciting. I get excited about this time of year where one of my favorite sports is the good old gridiron, on the gridiron of American football, where I'm even watching Canadian Football League. Now, they're a little different. They're able to do some things. It's basically the same thing. Their end zone's a little different. They have an extra guy, so they have 12 men on defense and 12 men on offense. I think they get 1 point. There's 1 point safety if they recovered after a missed field goal or something, and they can recover it. And the line of scrimmage is almost absurd because the line of scrimmage it's like a yard. I haven't read up on the rules, but it's like a yard where they can't go past that invisible line of scrimmage. They can't. In football, just don't cross. In American football, you just not cross the football, and you won't be offsides. So it's like this. I love the sport, but it's really it's not as fun as it used to be because back then you could actually see people tackle and hit, and I get like head injuries they want to take out of the game. That's fine and everything, but this notion of targeting in college football, and if it's not even if it's it's pretty obvious sometimes. Sometimes it's not. And they have to review it. So basically, you're guilty until proven innocent, and then they throw the individual out if they deem targeting, where they hit a defenseless player above the head or neck. And, you're supposed to not use your helmet anyway for hitting and passing and tackling. You're supposed to use your arms and legs, and you wrap up. And it really got absurd last year, and I believe the hip drop tackle, that's last resort tackle. But, and I don't think they really enforced that. I think there was a couple of hip drop tackles, and I'm glad they didn't enforce it as much. Look, they know they know the risk when it comes to playing football. It's a sport, and and here's really absurd. The absurdity is in college football or in NFL, you can't even go low on quarterback. You can't go high, you can't go low. So you have to basically the target is the stomach area and hips. You can only tackle and you can't drive them into the ground. So once you tackle them, you have to kind of let up and really. Football used to be so much better, and we'd be able to watch it. Even 15 years ago, you'd be able to just go after an opponent. Granted, there was helmet to helmet, and even the past 30, 35 years, they really started to protect the quarterback, which is understandable. You can't just pile drive them into the ground, Mel Blount rule, and things like that. But it seems like even now, the offensive lineman can't go low, only on goal line situations. They can only go low, something like short yardage situations or something like that. But if it's a pass play, they can't even go. I get the high-low thing where if an offensive lineman, offensive tackle's up high and the guard goes underneath and, takes him off after feet, that, I get that. But if it's just one player, if it's one-on-one and you decide to go low, it's, I don't know. I mean, I might be wrong on that, but yeah, you can't just go straight low. And then even on kickoffs have been that way for a long, long time, where you can't go low to block. It has to be waist above. Just, I get it. They want to take feet injury out, but you'd rather have leg and feet injuries in football than head injuries, because of obviously concussions and all that, the protocol, and they're trying to get rid of all those players that supposedly they had CTE. I can't speak on it, and who knows if it was all from that, what else can cause CTE. But a lot of those athletes, they never got some of them had CTE, and it's how did they get CTE? They never got hit in the head. But it's just, football's a brutal game, and it really still is. But, you can't really hit as much as you used to. I mean, you can, but it's I don't like the targeting in college football and, university football. I don't like that at all. It's really quite annoying. I want to put the air on, if you don't mind, individuals. I probably didn't have to even say that. But you see me reaching over. And if you're not watching and you're just listening, well, I put the air on. Yeah, it's gotten to the point where it gets a little frustrating, and like I say, and you want to see it where you want to see hitting and you want to see a physical game, and there is. Don't get me wrong, there is physical games, especially at the point of attack, But I seen one play last year where Clemson was playing SMU or something, or it was some other team that one of the defensive players went really low to try to break at the play, and apparently got a penalty for that. And it's really quite soft, and it's one of those things where I'd like to see them get rid of targeting. Not the penalty keep, yes, of course, but to eject a player or remove a player from the game for that, and that's just really unfortunate. But defensive players are vulnerable. Offensive players are vulnerable, but not as much as a defensive player anymore, because they have to be You know, they really got to watch how they tackle. And as if I was a defensive coach, and I would say, look, go low on them. Don't even, if you have a chance to make it a defensive play and break up a pass or get an interception, go for it. But if you see that player coming, go low and then tackle them low, because you're still allowed to do that. Thankfully, where you're able to tackle a defensive, an offensive player low. So I don't know. They'll have to come up with something. I'm glad I'm not a defensive coach, because there's all kinds of rules for the offense or for the defensive player, and there's hardly any for the offense. Except blindside blocks, which I always thought, if you're not gonna, go after the person, you blindside them is a little different, And some people like that, but I was never really a fan of that anyway. And that's, I guess, one good thing for the blindside blocks is, but it was fun to see though. But I was never really a fan of it. One of those things I wish they would just take out of the game. Too many rules with making with offense players can't do anything, especially quarterbacks. Now they can go run. If they can run and try to get a first down, they can slide, and you can't even go near them. Basically, a penalty if you go. Like I say, I don't like that at all. But they can slide. I'm glad they took the fake slide out of the game, where you're not allowed to fake slide. The Kenny Pickett rule. Well, that's all I really wanted to share. Anyway, if you follow football, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, then well, thanks for stopping by the channel and watching / listening to this video podcast. Yes, where you can watch or listen. It's all free, folks. Thank you very much for this might fall on deaf ears, but if you happen to watch this video, thank you for stopping by the video podcast. Y'all have a great day now. Thank you.